Everybody is Jess, and this is true.
What's going down? What's going down?
So, sir, first of all, this Truthful Thursday, and we talking about adulthood being the worst hood, and our last segment we've been on is relationships. So, just real fast, what do you think about a relationship? Like, I guess let's say you have a significant other. So, what do you think the main thing that's important to you about their relationship? And this is your
So,
truth.
the foundation of respect and the foundation and the direction of where we're going.
Okay. And so, in that aspect, so do you like you like for your woman to be submissive, or do you feel like that's only for like if you married or whatever?
Well, everything is a practice, so you have to put everything into rotation for everything to become exactly what you want it to be. You know what I'm saying? You don't step on the basketball. You don't get paid a contract in basketball without them being able to try you out of some of your weaknesses, and they analyze you like that. And I believe that's the same thing that vice versa, man to woman, woman to man, to see where your flaws at, see where your strengths are, and build on those.
Okay. And I don't know. I just kind of feel like, in some ways, even though it is a practice, what if? So I've heard plenty men say that, people I know, people I had just met, and my thing is always this: a lot of times men want you to be in the practice, but they not practicing on their behalf. Because if you saying you want me to be submissive, you want me to cook clean, you want me to come home at a certain time, you want me to only be for you, but then I found out you talking to Shaniqua and LaQuisha, how is that fair?
The misunderstood things that make us be the way we are now. And if you fast forward,
And so I don't know if anybody else could hear you, but you was kind of chopping up, like you chopping up on your end.
hold on, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, but you're very low,
Hold on. Let me see if I can do this.
and it sounds like
Hold on. Platform of your music
you're
feed.
some gems. I need the
Can you hear
people
me
to hear
now?
all of it. Yeah, it's still a little low, but you're clear. What you're saying is clear,
All right.
so
I
that's
think I
fine.
got. I don't know what just happened, but it had went low. But can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can
Okay.
hear you.
And I said over time that those are the things that have been said, and there's a certain level of distrust between African American men and women. Like we do not get along to a certain extent because there's always a protective barrier to protect ourselves as opposed to merging and really becoming one the way God intended it. You know what I mean?
So, do you feel like we have a problem as a culture, like as a race, with being emotionally naked in front of one another?
That's as a whole because we have four to five generations of that have been that bad information has been passed down to now.
Right. I don't know. So I guess, and so I'll take myself. This Truthful Thursday. So I'll say it for myself and my family. We didn't. It was. we were raised that you don't just talk to anybody, you know, like you got to set a standard. They have to set a standard. They have to show that they worth you talking to. Um, for men and women. Also, it has to be like boundaries put in place. Like you can't represent yourself a certain way if you're gonna be with me, and it should be the same way for men and women, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's like, what do you do when an agreement is made, but the other party is not upholding their end of it? Like, do that mean you call it quits? And I think for myself, I was in a marriage and I, did all I could. I feel like to make it work. I did all the steps, I felt like I was supposed to just listen to everything this person said, so that's what I did. And it's
I
almost
think
like I lost myself in that process because I feel like it's important to still, you know what I'm saying? Like I shouldn't have to stop being Jessica to be your wife.
well, the thing is, when you define the only culture that defines themselves outside of the man is African American culture. That's the only one.
Right.
If you go across, if you go into Africa, you go to Australia, you go to Europe, their women don't define themselves outside their men because that's the foundation of community and that's the foundation of family. Because think about it, even in Ukraine with the war breaking out, the women are standing beside the men. They're not
Right.
venturing off, going on their own. And that's what I challenge any African American right now. If a war, civil war was to race war was to break out, what actual protection would the African American woman actually have as a unity together? Much less just talking to black men with other black women.
Yeah. Okay. And it's, I mean, that's very deep what you said, but and I get it. But what I want you to tell me is personally, from where you raised it, from where you see your relationship. So are you married right now?
I'm not married right now.
So do you plan on getting married?
I plan on being married.
Okay, but you in a relationship or not?
Right. I am in a relationship.
So do you hold yourself accountable for every aspect of that woman life?
Actually, I do.
Okay. And so do you feel like that's a best practice if that's a person you want to marry?
Yes, I think you don't date to just be hanging out. I
Okay.
think you date with a purpose.
Okay. So Netflix is chill is really not a real thing. That's what people just doing to mess around and waste people time.
Absolutely. Because
Okay.
you got to understand when it's a thing called spread yourself thin that nobody actually uses these days.
Hmm.
And that's what we're doing. We're spreading ourselves thin with people that don't really give a damn about us. And then, like I say, due to the fact of us not being able that those sayings and cliches have been in the back of our minds since children. Now you have the writing on the wall where we are now as a society, where we don't take each other serious. We're always looking for a way out, or they are incapable. Like the men are incapable of leadership,
Right.
or the women aren't capable of building homes, and that's why we have the gender war that we have now.
And so I guess I'm gonna speak for me. I have no problem with being, submissive, letting my man lead the way, etc. But I just don't agree with doing that for somebody that I'm not like in the long term, and like we gotta be on the road to engagement or marriage for me to feel like I need to give you that type of respect and trust, because I have to be able to respect that you can handle everything you're doing and everything I'm doing, because that's the point of a man. If the man is gonna run it, you're supposed to be able to run everything that's going on. And if I see that you can't even run what you got going on, why in the world would I even let you in my life, let alone around my children? And so I think people get things misconstrued because I was told that I just don't want to be with nobody, and that's not true. But I'm just not gonna waste my time with anybody. So if I see anything that you're doing or have done that I didn't care for, I'm not even finna entertain you, because at the end of the day, people show you who they are, and you're supposed to believe them.
true, but I think that gets cross referenced to a certain extent as just as much as your wins build nostalgia, your mistakes build nostalgia too. Because, and the reason why I say that, and I'm
Of
saying that, I'm
course.
not talking about a person who ain't got their shit together. I'm talking about a person that can fail having their shit
Yeah.
together. I think a lot of people just want to celebrate, don't understand the losses. And a lot of people don't want to stick around for the losses. And that's an up and down roller coaster with marriage and relationships. So a lot of times
Right.
we hear women say things like, well, I'll see if he's worth submitting to. So that is statement in itself is narcissistic because come to you as men, we're coming to you with the utmost respect from the jump. So the moment I start dating you, you instantly get my protection. From the moment I start dating you, the moment you start getting my protection to all the way till you get to the house. So we're already implementing something before we ever get something out of y'all.
Right. And so you
So I
say
think,
we, but it's not a big group as it should be, especially in our background. Black men, they'll tell you out the block they not trying to be with nobody, but then they want you to act like y'all together, like they don't want you to talk to nobody, like all of that. And that's just, to me, that's just
that's
weird.
just game and that's just game and goofiness, and you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. If you in your 40s acting like you in your 20s, then you probably have what you call a second childhood syndrome, to where you don't know how to articulate yourself, you don't know how to hold yourself accountable, you
Right.
don't want to take on the responsibility of not just yourself but another person. Because I feel like God bless abundantly when you actually two, because it says in the Bible two is better than one. We're the only species thinking that separation has actually brought us a cornucopia of blessings, and it hasn't.
Okay.
So
All right. And I appreciate your honesty and the information you have gave, the knowledge you shared. What is that? Look at this guy.
right here, Shirazi Ali's The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. This is
Okay.
one of the most greatest books ever read that every black home should have. Every black home should have. To understand each other and understand the problems that we have so that we can build solutions and build nostalgia together.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to tap back in. Possibly next Thursday, maybe we can get you back on here. And I appreciate you for speaking up for the black men, because it is some good one out here.
Oh
All
yeah.
y'all not bad. We love y'all. We ain't trying to always go date outside the race. But if they like us and they act right and they treat us right, I mean, why should we get penalized for somebody loving on us? That ain't fair.
Hey man, we just gotta look at each other with a little bit more love and understanding, and I think we can really build something that's impenetrable, that every other races that have already been established with in their culture, they thriving on it right now.
Okay. All right. Well, we thank you, sir. And we will touch base with you again. Keep thriving, keep being amazing. And y'all check out my boy podcast. Let's yap about it. All right. It's Jess.
Appreciate it, appreciate it. I already won, y'all.
All right.